I got a passport. So? You think you got an important document. That's what's deep. That's just their permission for you to go. Goes on to say, the greatest concentration of the minority is in the Deep South, the Eastern Seaboard, the Great Lakes region, and the West Coast. Now, while the national population exceeds that of the minority by more than 10 times, we must realistically take into account the following. One, an estimated 40 to 50% of the white population will not, for various reasons, engage the minority during an emergency. Reason why the white folk ain't gonna try to get out there in the street and engage us is because they know they ain't gonna win. No. They'll get out there in the street and they'll see Shaka Zulus everywhere. And they ain't gonna stand there. No, they don't want that. Number two, American armed forces are spread around the world. A breakout of war abroad means fewer troops at home to handle the emergency. Three, local law enforcement officials must contain the emergency until help arrives, though it may mean fighting a superior force. New York City, for example, has a 25,000-man police force. Well, now it's more like 55,000. And there are about 1 million minority members in the city. We are confident that the minority would hold any city it took for how long, no? Only a few hours. Why? Because the lack of weapons, facilities, logistics all put the minority at a final disadvantage. Now notice this next part. Before we even read this next paragraph, say this with me. Black folk don't belong in the military. Don't so. No. Now I know it's real good when you get in there and they give you room and board and everything, and you know you stay in there and do your time and they take care of you for the rest of your life, supposedly. But you know, especially now. No. And I'm gonna tell you, we're getting ready to read why right now. Notice what it says. Since the Korean War, this department has shifted minority members of the armed forces to areas where combat is most likely to occur, with the aim of eliminating through combat as many combat-trained military servicemen as possible. Why is that? They can't afford to have combat military trained black folk on the streets here. There's a movie I encourage y'all to get called The Spook Who Sat by the Door. It's about a black man the first black man who became a member of the Central Intelligence Agency. And after he learned all of their skills and training, he resigned, went back to the black community and taught all those skills to the brothers in the hood. He was a dangerous human being. They couldn't figure out where all this mess was coming from. They thought another nation had launched clandestine war against the United States. And it was brothers in the community who had learned the covert activities that the United States government had trained this brother. Today, the ratio of minority member combat deaths in Vietnam, of course this was again written back in the 60s, where they are serving as advisors, is twice as high as the minority population ratio to the rest of America. Now, here it gives a timetable for how this plan is to be implemented. Brothers and sisters, I don't know if you can even get your mind to fathom what I'm about to tell you. But here they have this thing so organized that they actually got it worked out to how they can actually round up, arrest, and detain and incarcerate all of the black people in this country in an 8-hour period. Yes. Notice what it says. Number one, local police and minority leaders